Drought. Sites like these have become commonplace all over Maharashtra and India, especially the rural areas. Acute water shortages have devastated every aspect of life: parched fields, people awaiting tankers for drinking water, women's lives consumed by the endless quest for water, children torn away from school in the desperate struggle for water, families forced to migrate, leaving behind the land and homes. Year after year, India has been witnessing such images in the media. Hello, I am Rashmi Agrawal from India. This video is my peer review assignment submitted for the course of Biodiversity and Global Change from the University of Zurich for the Coursera website. The current climate change our planet is experiencing is a direct result of humans and their activities. The warm atmosphere due to global warming leads to changes in precipitation patterns also. Dry regions get drier and wet regions get wetter. The heat wave and drought plaguing the entire South Asia region is an example of how the environment is turning hostile. Over 330 million people in India are suffering from acute water shortage, and this is one of the most severe drought the country has experienced in years. Worst hit, however, is the semi-arid region of Marathwada in the state of Maharashtra, infamous for the exceedingly high number of farmer suicides. Marathwada is a strong example of how the extreme weather is becoming the new normal. I have been impressed by a very inspiring story of the Pani Foundation and their efforts to motivate the villages of Maharashtra to fight drought and set examples for people fighting the extremes. In this video, I would like to share this story because all these efforts also help in maintaining this planet and its biodiversity. The Pani Foundation is a not for profit company set up by Amir Khan, one of the leading actors of the Indian film industry, and Kiran Rao in the early 2016 in order to work towards creating a drought free Maharashtra. While conducting studies and surveys throughout Maharashtra, the foundation found out that though the state was experiencing very low rainfall for many years, the drought was also man made because of mismanagement of the rainwater and also the farming techniques. The foundation was amazed to see that even in this widespread drought, there were some villages in the same region which were water abundant and prosperous, with ample water throughout the year for human and animal needs as well as agriculture. This was possible because the community had come together to do simple low cost watershed development. They accomplished this by simple structures like continuous contour trenches, deep CCTs, farm ponds, loose boulder structure, gabion structures, etc. This ensured that the rainfall in the village percolated into the groundwater of the village and increased the level of groundwater. The principle behind this work is very simple: teach running water to walk, walking water to stand, and standing water to sit and percolate into the ground. The fact that the know how needed for this was available but had not spread widely troubled the Pani Foundation, and they then decided that if they could effectively communicate the solution, they would contribute to solving the water crisis. A detailed survey was conducted, and it was realized that if the idea of voluntary labor by the villagers is spread, then every village could become drought free through its own efforts. But this movement needed a platform which was found in the form of a competition for watershed development between villages. Thus was born the Satyamev Jayate Water Cup, a people's movement, a war waged against drought by the power of the people. The Water Cup was announced in three districts of Maharashtra on a pilot basis for those villages which did the most water conservation work. Meanwhile, brainstorming on the intricacies of the training process was underway. The demystifying of the technology was an important component of the training. Lots of fun activities and games were to be included in the training module to make the training less boring but highly effective in teaching the various techniques. The two important partners in this innovative training program were an organization, WOTR, who gave the technical know how, and SPERSH, who provided committed social trainers. An electronic communication center was set up to make several films for training purposes. Some were technical, some do it yourself, and some inspirational. Both technical and social aspects of watershed development were included. Each selected village was then invited for the training in those villages which were models of watershed development and were green even in this drought. All the training sessions commenced with people's participations. The use of instruments necessary for watershed development was explained in a simple way. Films were screened and field trips organized to show watershed management structures. Structures like CCTs were dug for practical experience. The different concepts were taught through games. One of these, the straw game, became extremely popular. For this game, four teams were formed, each team with a grandfather, a father, and a son. A vessel would be filled with water and straws were distributed. Each team had to suck water with the straws and fill it in the bottles. The grandfathers begin the game and continue till all the water finishes in the vessel. It is again filled with water, and the fathers play till it is emptied again. But when it's chance of the sons to play, water is not refilled, to the utter surprise of the people. Then the trainers explain to them that if we exploit and use up all the water available now, there will be nothing left for our children in the future. By such activities and games, the villagers realized the need for watershed management not only for themselves but also for their future generations. The trainees returned back to their respective villages with the technical know how, and they then set about mobilizing their own villages. The first Satyamev Jayate Water Cup contest began on 20th April 2016 and was a 45-day long competition. The villagers were so motivated that they all put in their every effort, putting aside political and caste divisions. Soon it became a big movement with more and more people joining every day. Even people from cities, including students, doctors, engineers, policemen, lawyers, teachers, all joined and contributed in this movement. Village vistas changed dramatically with thousands of watershed structures blossomed across the village landscape. In just 45 days, amidst drought, in 40 to 45 degrees Celsius temperatures, a people's movement created an annual water storage capacity of 1,368 crore liters, the equivalent of 1,368,000 tankers of water with a market value of about 270 rupee crores annually. On the 5th of June, the contest came to an end. The people then waited for those drops of rain that so many thousands had sweated so much for. But, and when the rains came, people embraced their new bond with water with much festivity. They were not bothered who was defeated in the water cup competition. They were happy that they had defeated the drought. This hard earned water generated the feeling that the water, land, forest, and environment are theirs, and when this connect happens, we use nature responsibly without destroying it. This inspiring story tells us that everything is not lost yet. All that is required is awareness, motivation, strong will, and implementation at the ground level. Since biodiversity depends highly on the climate change, such efforts surely help in preserving it. I am a member of an NGO, the Biodiversity Society of Chhattisgarh. We do assessment of possible damages to the environment and biodiversity of places where prospective roads, railway lines, mines, or industries are to be constructed. Also, we do conservation of the wildlife, avifauna, and the water resources of those areas. In this way, I act as a biodiversity ambassador by speaking for such crucial issues to save the climate and the biodiversity of this planet. Thank you.